Next on Newsbeat, casual hookups, no strings attached, a new college dating site that is raising eyebrows.
Plus, definitely not the news you want to hear, a deadly snake missing from a zoo in New York.
And as Libyan rebels approach a Muammar Gaddafi stronghold, President Barack Obama addresses the nation. Newsbeat starts now. Good morning and welcome to Newsbeat. I'm Anna Samovska.
And I'm Catherine Gamby. President Barack Obama defends his decision for U.S. intervention in Libya.
We have intervened to stop a massacre, and we will work with our allies and partners to maintain the safety of civilians. We will deny the regime arms, cut off its supplies of cash, assist the opposition, and work with other nations to hasten the day when Gaddafi leaves power.
President Obama also said U.S. forces will transfer power to NATO on Wednesday, nearly 2 weeks since airstrikes began.
And the Libyan conflict is one of many in the Mideast, with uprisings all over the region. Many citizens are wondering what's next. Newsbeat's Allison Rodriguez is live in the newsroom with our top story. Allison?
That's right. Good morning, ladies. The anti-government protests in the Middle East are showing no signs of slowing down, and now several new countries are reporting violence and political unrest. What's next for this oil-rich region, and how will it impact the world? When a Tunisian man set himself on fire after being mistreated by authorities, protests erupted throughout the country. Tunisians united to oust the president. This was just the beginning of unrest that spread across the Middle East. Next was Egypt, and now Libya. A total of 10 countries are reporting anti-government protests, including Algeria, Yemen, and Syria. Ahmed Shaki is a journalist and editor who covered the crisis in Egypt. He says that people fighting for their basic rights is what made them come out in droves.
It's about people's yearning for freedom, some dignity, a better future for themselves and their children.
Ayman Shahadi teaches Middle Eastern history at Columbia College, Chicago. He says every leader in the Mideast is feeling the pressure.
And whether you're in Saudi Arabia, whether you're in Syria, whether you're in Jordan, any of those regimes, because they're all regimes, they're all dictatorships. You are scared right now, and that's a good thing.
He also says that these events have been a long time coming.
This is years of frustration, of anger, of poverty for many of these individuals, and it just exploded. I mean, nobody's asking for an Islamic state. Everybody's asking for basic rights. Everyone is asking for democracy.
But that leaves some room for interpretation.
I mean, our democracy doesn't look like the democracy in England or France. Those democracies look very, very different.
Now, Professor Shahadi did tell me we should keep a closer eye on what happens here on out in Egypt. That's because what happens in Egypt will have the biggest influence on what the other Middle Eastern countries will do politically. Reporting live from the newsroom, I'm Allison Rodriguez. Back to you ladies in the studio.
Thank you, Allison. New today, an arrest in the brutal attack of a suburban man in Grant Park. 45-year-old Cortez Brown is charged with mugging, beating, and sexually assaulting a Schiller Park man. It happened shortly after midnight Saturday. Police say the 65-year-old victim was left without shoes or pants and had been sodomized with a tree branch. Foster, on parole for armed robbery since May, is due in bond court this afternoon.
Mayor Daley's O'Hare expansion plan has been cleared for takeoff again, but pilots are raising concerns about safety after several incidents on the airfield. Those concerns come after a Tribune investigation found dozens of FAA mistakes. In one incident, a FedEx jet just missed colliding with a barrier installed across a runway. The barrier is there to protect construction equipment. The FAA is taking several precautions, including digital alerts sent directly to the plane's onboard computer. In the meantime, the old Cabrini Green housing project may soon be the home of a new Target store. The Chicago Housing Project says it received an offer from the retail chain earlier this month. The last remaining high-rise at the site will be torn down this year. Target also announced plans this month to open a new store on State Street.
Chicago-based Goose Island has been bought by Anheuser-Busch for nearly $40 million. The head of Goose Island, John Hall, says the company reached its limit of brewing space. Hall hopes the deal with Anheuser-Busch will only continue to help Goose Island grow. The company's Chicago brewery will remain open and under the management of Hall. Coming up on Newsbeat, what happened at a fundraiser featuring Vice President Biden that has some crying foul?
Plus, a deadly snake is on the loose in the Bronx. What is being done to track it down next?
Plus, Let the Tears Fall. The date of Oprah's last episode has been announced. Details coming up.